Pearson has upgraded TestNav to version 8. This upgrade brings new features and capabilities and a new look to the online testing platform. This training is critical to prepare teachers and students for these changes. It is mandatory that all students enrolled in a class with an end-of-course SOL test take a practice test on the new platform to get acclimated to these changes prior to taking their SOL test. This video is designed for all teachers of an EOC SOL course. This video will review the new features and will highlight changes to the testing procedure of which you should be aware to minimize testing irregularities. First thing, when you plan to have students take an SOL practice test provided by Pearson, please use the generic TestNav login for all computers, instead of the students logging in individually. The username is gbh-testnav, and the password is testnav, all lowercase letters. This login is secure and designed to provide the best access to Pearson while on network. It is completely acceptable to allow your students to enter this username and password. Once you have logged on to TestNav, click on the new Pearson TestNav icon. This will be on the desktop and should look exactly like this icon. The window that opens may or may not look like this screen. If you get this screen, please select Virginia. Many of you will most likely see this screen when you click on the Pearson TestNav icon on the desktop. This is the sign-in page students will use when they take the EOC SOL test at the end of the semester. To take a practice test, click on Practice Tests. Clicking on Practice Tests will direct the student to this screen. You will direct your students to click on the general subject for your course, which will open additional options within each subject area. Direct your students to click on the course-specific test to access the practice item set. For this demo, I am choosing Algebra 1. Once they select a practice test, the first screen they see will identify the total number of sections and number of questions within each section. Direct students to click the button to start test now. Automatically, a terms and conditions pop-up will appear. Students are required to review, agree, and then continue to access the practice set. At the following screen, direct students to click the button to start section. Now, let me show you some of the new features in TestNav 8 that is available in all subject area tests. First, notice this gray toolbar. The gray toolbar identifies the name of the test, the section, and test item shown. Above this gray toolbar, notice this area over here. At the top right, find the user drop-down menu. And in a real testing environment, the student's name will appear to the left of that drop-down menu. When you click on the drop-down menu, students will have access to the following. First, they can change the background and foreground color. This is a feature that the students are welcome to use to customize the display to best serve their needs. They can activate or deactivate the line reader mask. This is a tool that appears over the content. Students can drag or adjust the dimensions of this tool however they choose to focus their attention on any part of the question they choose. To deactivate the line reader mask, the student must deselect the tool from the user drop-down menu. Students may also choose to activate the answer masking tool. When activated, this will cover each answer and allow the student to view only one answer at a time. Reveal the answer by clicking on the eyeball icon to the right of each answer. To deactivate the answer masking tool, again, they must return to the user drop-down menu and deselect from there. Finally, the last tool available in the user drop-down menu is the sign out option. This is where a tester or proctor will direct a student to go when guidance, our testing clerk, or administration requests that a student exit the test. Signing out will keep the test active and will not submit answers for scoring. Signing out of TestNav should only happen at the directive of a testing administrator. In the top center, test-specific tools will be available to the right of standard Test Nav 8 tools, like the Answer Eliminator or the Selector tool. Rolling your cursor over each button will identify the name of each tool, and clicking on the tool will activate the tool, just like clicking on it again will deactivate the tool. To the left of Testing Tools, find the Bookmark tool. This is where students mark items for review. When clicked, the button will shift colors to show that this item is marked for review. To the left of the Bookmark tool is the Review menu. In this menu, all items are listed. Any item with an orange circle indicates a question that has not yet been answered. Notice that the blue flag appears when an item has been marked for review. This list is navigatable, meaning that each question listed hyperlinks to that question in the test. The student may also choose to click on the tabs at the bottom of the Review menu to view only those questions that have not been answered and only those questions that have been bookmarked. In order to exit the review, you may click anywhere outside of the menu to close that Review menu. Finally, the buttons in the top left corner of the screen are the primary navigation buttons. These two arrows will advance or go back through the test items one item at a time. Now, on the right side of the screen is the Exhibits menu. The Exhibits menu will provide any approved reference materials available to the students. This includes course-specific formula sheets, reference tables, and prompts. In the case of the Algebra 1 test, only one reference document is available, so you see one tab. Other tests like chemistry or other science and math tests may have additional reference materials that they can access by clicking on appropriate tabs. As mentioned in the beginning of this video, it is expected that all teachers will reserve time in a computer lab to provide their students the opportunity to take a practice test. There is a checklist of features that the students must interact with during the practice test. There's no way to get their grade from this practice test. The point of the practice test is to simulate a course-specific test on the new platform and allow the students to interact with the new platform prior to the end of course test. This practice is especially important because these practice sets include technology-enhanced items, more commonly called TEI test items. These are specially designed items that require students to select multiple answers, drag and drop terms on a table or image, or other special questions. Number 2 on the Algebra 1 test is an example of a TEI. The directions indicate that students must select the correct answers, meaning more than one of these options is eligible to be selected. Once students select their answers in blue in advance, this will indicate that that question has been answered. All right. They can deselect if they change their mind, but this allows for multiple answers to be selected. There are additional ones. I'm going to advance to number 9. In this case, they must select only the correct answer, so only one is available. If I choose this one and decide it happened to be this one, notice it will not allow me to select another answer until I deselect the previous one. So keep that in mind. There are many different varieties. Your students must progress through the entire practice test to interact with all of the examples of TEI items available. Now, once students have proceeded or completed the entire test, when they advance, they will come to this screen that will indicate how many questions were not answered, how many were bookmarked. When they are done, you can direct them to submit their final answers, and this will simulate the actual ending of a standard test. Yes, submit the final answers, and you get to this screen. In a testing environment, students should remain at this screen. Proctors are directed to not advance or click on the back to sign in page. The testing is done.